We are going to talk about Concord and how it's a massive failure. I saw people saying that I was going to do damage control for Concord. Do you want to open up with Concord and how well that game is not doing currently? We can if you'd like. Now, I don't want to make fun of Concord. I will say this. You know, I know people who worked over there. They worked on it for 8 years. What really frustrates me about Concord is the fact that they spent 8 years on that game and nobody once said, hey, maybe this isn't the way to go in terms of direction. Everyone was just like, what the hell is this? They started 8 years ago. You know what other game launched around that time? Overwatch. The problem is they started development once Overwatch launched, knowing full well that the game wouldn't come out until many, many years later. And now the market is saturated with a bunch of free-to-play games that are freaking awesome. And they're going up against that. Like Overwatch 2 is free. You're going up against that. And if you look at like where Overwatch 2 is sitting, or these other shooters like Marvel Rivals came out of nowhere and it's like pretty solid. It's free. It's like you're coming into a market saying how you're going to do something different. And the games is so bare bones. It's nuts. Like I played it a little bit and I just uninstalled it. I just didn't want to play anymore. I know Travis Northup, who's reviewing it over on IGN. He's like, yeah, this feels really good. Every game I play, it's just, I'm not having a good time with it at all. The finals is good. Like there's all of these other games out there right now that are doing much better than Concord. The reason that I'm upset about it is because the people working on it are so incredibly talented. And sometimes when you have incredibly talented people like that, they need leadership to tell them to rein it in certain ways and maybe steer them towards the right goals. And Concord is just such a bizarre target to aim at. Like who's that game made for? Like, what's the market? What's the market analysis that's saying people want Concord? It's so weird. And to see somebody like Naughty Dogs have the knowledge to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't get into this space, makes a lot more sense. You know, the one thing that I see about Concord, everyone's like, go woke, go broke. And you see that all the time online. I think if Concord was something different that people actually wanted to play, then maybe people wouldn't be touting that very easy to say term. I don't think that's why it flopped. It's just slow. It's really not fun. Like the people who are digging it, the people are like, oh, I'm playing it and I'm having a great time. It's not good. You shoot somebody in the head with a sniper rifle and they don't die. Like you have characters with like these huge life pools and you have this sniper with an annoyingly slow reload animation. Like there's fundamental problems with how the characters are built. So all of that woke stuff that everybody keeps talking about, I'm like, you're missing the point. The game's not good. Like the game at a fundamental level is not fun. And that's my opinion. Some people are liking it more than that. But I think once you get into like a higher level of play, maybe you can do it as a squad. But like, come on. It's not fun. And if you're curious, like how bad this is, I brought up the Steam charts before the show, and it's dropped to 332 since I brought up the Steam charts, and they hit a peak 697 players 2 days ago. That's when it launched to the public. And here's the thing, 692 was their peak. Well, I've seen a lot of people comparing it to bad games like Gollum. Let's compare it to a game like, you know what it would be a good game to compare it to? Half-Life Alyx. That has a big barrier to entry. You got to buy what? A $700 headset to play that? You have to buy the $700 headset. You know, Concord's available on PC and PlayStation 5. There's not a lot of barriers, just a $40 barrier. Half-Life Alyx, like, granted it's a known franchise, but it literally has more players playing right now than the all-time peak for Concord. Half-Life Alyx, the VR game that requires a $700 headset to play, has more people playing it right now than Concord ever has had playing it. That's nuts. That is a colossal failure. And if you're wondering, like, oh, well, you know, Suicide Squad, which we know was a failure, remember, that led to a 41% drop in revenue for Warner Brothers Gaming. $200 million loss. They lost $200 million on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. How is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? They have about half the amount of players that Concord has playing right now. And that was a $200 million loss. So they have 145. Concord has 332. So just under half what Concord has. You need people within your, group who are willing to say, we shouldn't do this, that, or that. You can't just have everybody just saying, yes, everything's a great idea. Everything's wonderful. You have to have people reining it in, I think. I'm not happy that Concord failed at all, but this is a massive failure. Redfall, another failure. 51 people playing right now, 6,124 peak. And that game was, as we know, a big failure. Gollum had a higher peak, according to SteamDB. Lord of the Rings Gollum had a 758 player peak. Senua's Saga, a game that a lot of people are like, it currently has 132 people playing. Again, like maybe 1/3 of the amount of people that are playing Concord at the moment. It had a peak of nearly 4,000 players when it came out. It's a very short game. Starfield, very divisive. A lot of people say it's like terrible bad. It has 15,878 people playing it right now. So if you just want some context about how bad this is, it's bad. It's probably one of the biggest flops I've ever seen Sony put out. Since they marketed it, since that first trailer, it has been met with criticism and people asking, who is this for? Who is this for? Like, who played this game and said, yeah, you should keep going? The movement is slow. It doesn't feel good. The characters don't feel particularly balanced. They've reined in characters that were like, I don't get Concord. And if I don't get it, I don't think a lot of people are going to get it. I played 20 hours of the game across the beta and this one. It's nuts to me to see how well it's done. I played the beta of Concord and then I stepped away for a bit and I went back into it and I'm like, wait, this game sucks. There's a fundamental problem with it. I've already done my rants about Concord, but I've been very clear that I am not positive about Concord. I don't like it. I think the character designs are not good. Like, at best, they are boring and bland. They look like knockoffs of Guardians of the Galaxy. The nicest thing I can say is that the CGI and how they did the CGI is gorgeous. However, the writing is awful. The writing is the worst writing I have ever seen. And we already know what the first 3 weeks are going to do. And it's abysmal. Like, why in the world are we going to be nice about this one? You know why people are being nice about Concord? Because they see just like how bad this is going to be. They're like, this is bad. I don't even want to make fun of it anymore. And it's not even fun to make fun of. I feel bad for the people who spent 8 years on this. There's the human element of just like, wow, I kind of feel bad for all these devs that spent 8 years on it. And like people who I know and like and respect in the industry, like, yeah, we're all in on Concord. I'm like, you wasted 8 years though. Like, it's brutal, man. 8 years to put that out. Who is it for? What focus testing happened? What person in leadership, Jim Ryan, what person in leadership said, we're going to buy your studio so that you can make this game? The big question I see from the community is like, what the hell did Sony see in Concord that they were like, yeah, let's buy Concord Studio and get this one off the ground out of all the games? That's insane to me. So you want to know my take on Concord? It is a travesty that team spent 8 years to make that game. If you like Concord, I am so happy for you. You're going to get to play that game and enjoy it for weeks. I'm very happy that you're here and that you're enjoying the game. In all seriousness, I'm glad you like Concord. I don't care if you like Concord, if you're having a good time. A lot of my colleagues like Concord. I liked it for like a week, and that was when I saw all the negativity and everything. I'm having a good time. But then I stepped away and I came back to it after they started patching characters. And I'm like, wait, this game sucks. The sniper isn't good. It's like the sniper shoots and then the reload, and it's a bolt action gun. And I'm like, I can't get a different type of sniper. I can't, like, there's no option here. And you're telling me the vacuum cleaner, how many shots does it take to kill the vacuum cleaner? The game just sucks, man. And the worst part is the writing is so poor. You don't care about those characters at all. And I think it's a human nature thing. You think about all the people who put in their time into Concord and they worry about them as people. I think that's reasonable and it's just a compassion thing, but the game still sucks. So like you can have both of those, right? Anyway, that's my take on it. Yeah. So long story short, Concord is a disaster. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you haven't watched. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much to all the members for supporting. This has to be updated because Aries gifted 10 members last week and new members have joined. But thank you so much. If you want to become a member, click that join button. I do appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one. In the meantime, check out that crazy theory I had about the console. Bye for now, everybody.